Hey guys, how's it going? Got a gorge here. Gonna see how fast I can kill it. I'd like something a bit harder, but whatever. We'll roll with it. It's the Vol Molten Shell build. Not much to say about it. Uses Skuld's Bridle, dual consuming darks. I can go over it after the slowest part is always starting out with this stuff. Luckily for me, I do have 2 sack harvests. Alright, we're online. Make sure we get every pack. So I am playing an Elementalist, which means I get Elemental Conflux, which is awesome, and I get the 9 radius proliferation, which makes it so I can zip from pack to pack, and I don't have to worry too much about cleanup. Usually the really bad thing about Vol Molten Shell is there's a lot of backtracking, like I just did right there, to go back and finish off a pack that you quite get. And it's usually necessary because you rely on a single explosion, because this you leave behind this burning stuff. It's really great for crabs or what is that? Oh, it's crabs. It's great for crabs. It's great for clearing out, you know, stray mobs that weren't hit by the direct explosion. Actually helps a lot with volatile blood. The big downside of Vol Molten Shell is you are at risk of dying of volatile blood. Especially in higher maps where you'll stand there and you'll channel like this right beside you know, a volatile Devo. It's a really good way to die. But all in all, with those life risks aside, this build does feel very safe.
Come to me, exile.
I'm pretty much invincible. Great. Died pretty quick. Let's see how clean that was. I got 6 left. I'll backtrack and get some loot because I just wanted to show off the build, but not too bad. I'm 87 right now. I'm hoping this build can push very high level maps, and I'm quite confident it can. But one thing I'm a little iffy on is there are going to be longer fights where you won't be able to have your Vol Molten Shell up for all 27 seconds. That's how long mine is right now. Oh, 26 seconds, sorry. So for example, if you were to do, you know, an endgame core map, or even just like Merciless Malachi, you would need to pre-charge your Vol Molten Shells. So you would, so Vol skill gems, when you have their souls all maxed out, you're able to take them out and place them in your inventory. And something that I've seen people do, I don't take credit for coming up with this, but when it comes to doing a Zeri, for example, Vol Molten Shell is excellent for fighting at Zeri. But what you can do is carry several Vol Molten Shells and charge them all up so that you have several to use. And then in between phases of the fight, so in the case of Malachi, you know, first phase you would wear your 1 Vol Molten Shell, pop it, kill first phase in 26 seconds or less, or with the Flame Blast if you do run out, and then switch for the second phase.
When I'm ready and not before.
So yeah, I'm using a Skuld's Bridle, of course. I'm wearing a Cloak of Flame. I did have a Lightning Coil on a previous version of this build, but that build died instantly to Detonate Dead. So now I'm using a poor man's Lightning Coil. The ignite duration though is actually very, very key, and it's nice to not have to compensate for negative lightning res. Dual consuming darks, I did happen to stumble across very high rolls, 56 out of 60, and I got a 59 out of 60 from Kadiro, so it was very nice of him. High life, Dex Amulet. I do need some Dex, as faster attacks requires 108, so I'm sitting at 128 right now. It's not too bad. And yeah, that's what I'm using for my movement ability. It's Whirling Blades. It does damage me and help proc that nice Volatile Shell explosion. And you know, Life Triver's Belt. Gear's alright. It's not too expensive. This ring was super cheap. I think it was like 30 alts or something. But yeah, it's a good skill tree. So, Leisure of the Primordial is what I went with for the 2 skill points after the Beacon of Ruin. Beacon of Ruin is excellent for the reasons I was describing during that Gorge run. Saves you from having to backtrack constantly. I wasn't too clean on my whirling around, and I only left 6 mobs in that last map, so I think that's pretty good. And a lot of the time you'll see those little prolifs just sitting around on the ground. And yeah, like I said with crabs, when you kill a crab and the prolif's just sitting there, the new crab will spawn and just burn to death immediately. I've killed bosses just from the Beacon of Ruin. It's so great because the chaos damage of the Vol Molten Shell is so high that when you do ignite something, it burns really hard. And the Cloak of Flame really helps them stay ignited for longer and longer. Legion of Primordial, I just figured it's more damage total than Pendulum of Destruction. I never considered Paragon of Calamity. I don't think it would be that great. But Pendulum of Destruction is essentially a 10% increase in elemental damage, or sorry, a 40% increase in elemental damage, since it is only for 4 out of 10 seconds. But the 40% is already obtained from having a Fire Golem, and then you also get 100% of the Fire Golem buff. So, you know, I'm getting 38 plus 40, which is 78% increase elemental damage consistently versus 100% inconsistently, or 40% on average. I did pick up both skill duration nodes, clusters, exceptional performance and potency of will. Tree kind of extends all over the place. Elemental Overload is insane with this build. The 40% more multiplier lets you melt things like crazy. I'm running a Sacrificial Harvest. I bought this one and I actually Vol Orbed a perfect one, so I got super lucky on that. And that's great for maps where you aren't able to zip around very easily like I just did. And it helps when, you know, the packs are more sparse or you aren't able to get so many easy souls. So yeah, I went down to the Templar tree, got an extra endurance charge. I do run a Blasphemized Warlord's Mark, so it's great for keeping up your endurance charges. With this build, I'm pretty much always at 5 endurance charges, and whenever I take damage, thanks to my cast of damage taken, Immortal Call, I'm invincible for about 5 seconds, I think. I have minion life linked to Summon Flame Golem. That's just a result of having the right colors. In my helm, I have my Flame Blast linked to faster casting, Void Manipulation, and increased AoE. I have Control Destruction, increased AoE, increased duration, Void Manipulation, all linked to my Vol Molten Shell. The Conk Effect, I haven't really messed around with it too much. Honestly, most bosses die so fast. I've done Malformation Piety, I've done Chateau Argus, I've done Shipyard, Grivisius. Nothing really lasts long at all in front of you while you're channeling a Flame Blast with Vol Molten Shell on. So I haven't had to use Conk Effect, but I suspect that when I get to higher level maps, like T15s where I'm fighting Duresso, Conk Effect will let me melt them just as fast. I do have a less duration faster casting Lightning Warp. I don't know how I feel about this, as I did get all these skill effect duration clusters. It sort of screws over Lightning Warp. So yeah, I might drop this for, you know, just a faster casting Flame Dash, for example. I also run Arctic Armor, so those are my 2 sort of mana reserves. Is Warlord's Mark and Arctic Armor. And yeah, that's about it. I've heard crits can be pretty good. You know, you can run a Diamond Flask. For those of you who don't know, Vol Molten Shell, if it rolls a crit, then you get it critting for the entire duration, so that's pretty good. That's actually very insane. I opted to just go for Elemental Overload, as it is more reliable than trying to get it so your Vault Molten Shell is always critting. There are some insane softcore builds. I am in hardcore. This is a hardcore Perandus League. There are some insane softcore builds that go with the crit Vault Molten Shell. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Oh yeah, I came down here to grab this chaos damage. This is pretty damn good. Since I am short on dex, the 20 dex is nice. And the 20% chaos damage, excuse me, is pretty good. Damage over time, I don't know how I feel about this. I think it counts for burning damage. I'm not actually sure, so this could be a total scrub move. The 5% skill increased skill effect duration was pretty nice though, and I figured it was better than these fizz damage nodes. But if nothing else, it does help the poison from the consuming darks, which is insignificant in my opinion. I think the poison is pretty garbage in comparison to the ignite. I've had cases where I'm fighting a high ES character and I've hit them a few times with a Vault Molten Shell, which pierces through their lightning or through their energy shield, and they're missing a lot of health. But then the burn comes in and it takes off all their ES and then kills them. And that's pretty insane. Something I will note is I did grab these fire damage nodes as well, and the increased radius of area skills comes at the very end. It's very nice. Something else I've been thinking of is possibly getting this Holy Fire node up here. Could be pretty good. Burning damage is really strong. I know I'm full chaos. That's to not die to reflect. You will die to reflect almost instantly with this build if you don't have Vault Pact, which I don't. It is pretty close, but yeah, I don't know. I'd play it similar to a cast on crit discharge. Honestly, it's similar in a lot of ways. So you would need Vault Pact and a Ruby Flask, obviously, and probably a Rise of the Phoenix, honestly. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's it for me. Peace.